High above the forest floor, a small white bird named Pip lived a predictable, simple life. He spent his mornings soaring through the lush canopy, riding the updrafts and keeping his feathers clean. Pip's routine was guided by an old gray owl who sat at the center of the woods. The owl taught the younger animals a concept called virtue. To the owl, it was a practical habit, the daily choice to act with integrity to keep the heart pure and the mind tranquil. The core of this teaching rested on self-discipline. The owl explained that true discipline is the ability to manage your own desires, to control your wants before they take control of you. For Pip, this meant a quiet, happy rhythm. By practicing this restraint every day, he maintained the clarity and lightness he needed to fly higher than any other bird in the forest. But a quiet routine only lasts until a new urge arrives. One afternoon, down by the riverbank, Pip spotted a strange bush that had sprouted overnight. It was covered in plump, glowing purple berries. They glistened in the sunlight and gave off a sweet, intoxicating scent. Compared to Pip's daily diet of plain brown seeds, the berries looked like an impossible luxury. This visual represents the specific danger the owl had described. These fruits were a trick of nature. They offered a rush of sugar, but left the eater lazy, isolated from their friends, and trapped under a heavy, dark cloud of confusion. Still, as Pip stared at the bush, his stomach rumbled. The physical hunger started to twist his logic. He told himself that a single berry wouldn't ruin his flight, and that he could stop whenever he wanted. The presence of the berries disrupted the forest's peace. Pip's search for a meal had become a confrontation between his hunger and the one thing the owl warned him about. Pip stood mere inches from the branch. His tiny heart raced. The intoxicating smell of the fruit flooded his senses, creating a fog in his normally sharp mind. A fierce internal battle broke out. Desire whispered to take a secret reward, saying he deserved a sweet treat. But his conscience pushed back. It reminded him of the owl's warning, the dark cloud that would follow, and losing the open sky. Even external help arrived. A squirrel scurried down a nearby oak, warning Pip that those were sleepy berries, and offered him a handful of safe, crunchy nuts instead. Pip barely heard the squirrel. The glowing purple skin of the berries had a magnetic pull. External warnings alone rarely break the trance of physical desire. Knowing the right thing to do is an intellectual exercise. Actually executing that choice, when the wrong path looks beautiful and smells sweet, is where the mechanics of self-discipline are truly tested. Pip leaned forward. He stretched his neck, opened his beak, and prepared to bite into the soft skin of the fruit. Right at that moment, a cool breeze swept off the river and ruffled his white feathers. The physical sensation broke the trance, triggering a memory of the owl's song. True peace only comes from a disciplined mind. Pip's perspective shifted. He weighed the fleeting sugar rush against the reality of stained feathers, a heavy body, and a clouded heart. With a sudden exertion of willpower, Pip snapped his beak shut. He turned his body away from the bush, launched into the air, and flew back to his nest to eat his plain brown seeds. By walking away, Pip secured an immediate internal victory. He traded a few seconds of sweet taste for the undeniable warmth of his own strength. By the time evening arrived, the sky was painted in strokes of orange and pink. Pip glided smoothly back to the center of the forest to find the old owl. The owl had been watching from his high perch. He praised the young bird, acknowledging the difficulty of walking away from the riverbank and congratulating him on choosing his true self over a temporary urge. The owl described discipline as a bridge. It provides a path over dark, turbulent waters that would otherwise swallow a traveler, connecting them to a brighter shore. Pip's choice at the riverbank secured his future freedom. By denying a temporary impulse, he ensured his mind remained clear, his feathers spotless, and his flight limitless. Word of his restraint spread through the canopy, earning the respect of the other animals. Pip tucked his head under his wing that night and fell into a peaceful, untroubled sleep. Self-discipline acts as a guardian for the heart. It provides strength to protect one's integrity and leads the way towards a happiness that lasts.